Hello, my friends. Paul here. Today, I want to talk about power. On this journey, especially if we're having a really tough and challenging time, maybe the symptoms are really strong, maybe they're worse than before. We have a lot of concerns. We look at other people's progress, we start doubting ourselves, and there's this real feeling of helplessness, maybe a feeling of, gosh, I'm losing hope. And I can relate to that on a very deep level. And so, one of the things that the brain is very good at when it's stuck in a state of survival, it's very good at distorting reality because it's not seeing reality through filters of objective reality. It's looking through reality as like, I'm in danger. I had unmet needs as a child. There are some deeper wounds in here that I can feel, but I'm not sure what they are, or maybe I'm just not ready to deal with them. Whatever it is, the brain does not feel safe. And so it's trying to, it will overanalyze, it will overthink, it will try to make you feel bad. Well, you're not doing this, and this needs to go away, and maybe we should do this program. No, maybe we should use this tool more often. All these are lies. Can guarantee you when symptoms are kind of out of control, the brain's lying to you. 99.9999% of what the brain is telling you is a big fat lie. So take that knowledge and just know, what can I do? This is how you get your power back. And this is how I know you are more powerful than you think you are. And I hope it's okay to say that, because one of the things that we have is we have free will. We are a higher conscious being, and we can make decisions anytime we want. We can choose to listen to our brain that's lying to us. And now, much of these stories that the brain is telling us are usually from our childhood. Not always. Certainly, it's from other parts of our life. But a lot of these stories could be from our parents, our aunts, uncles, relatives, friends that bully from preschool or from around the neighborhood. And so our brain likes to repeat these stories, and our brain likes to change these stories because for some reason it thinks it needs to say these things to us because we need to problem solve. This is going to keep us safe. We need a certain stress chemistry in our body, whether it's fight or flight or freeze or a complete shutdown. Our brain doesn't feel safe, so it's creating this world, this reality that I like to call the limbic matrix. It's not real. So this is how you get your power. You can override the limbic system of the brain anytime you want. And it may not feel that way sometimes, especially if you have a lot of thoughts, like lots of thoughts just coming in, hard, fast, and furious. I know I did. I had thousands of thoughts throughout the day, nonstop. It was literally like a loud voice in my ear. One of my mentors, one of my coaches, basically gave me a good metaphor. Paul, don't try and stop the thoughts. Think of those thoughts as a bunch of kind of loud teenagers walking down the hallway. They're loud, they're there. You can't make them go away. You can tell them to be quiet. And sometimes I too tell my own brain, hey brain, knock it off. Stop sending me that story. So you don't have to believe your thoughts. You don't have to believe your thoughts, number one. Number two, your brain is very good at distorting reality. It's lying to you. And so I made a video on that a few months ago. If you haven't seen it yet, I really encourage you to watch it on my channel because I really go much deeper into how good and resourceful the brain is at really lying to us because it thinks we're in danger. And this is how I know you're really a powerful human being, because at any time you can tell your brain, I hear your brain, and I really appreciate that you want to protect me so much. I appreciate that. I'm not going to listen to you. You telling me that I'm never going to heal. You telling me that my nervous system and my brain's too far gone, that I'm so different and so biologically different than anyone else that I can't heal. Stop sending me that story. It's not true. And I choose today not to believe that anymore. And I would talk to my brain like this throughout the day, sometimes a lot. And at first, it felt strange, it felt weird. And this is where it gets a little tricky because, I often suggest to people, to try something. And if it doesn't resonate with you, then try something different. But sometimes you may have to do something for a little while for it to really catch on. And so this is different for everybody. So I don't like giving prescriptive advice. Like, you got to do this, you have to do this. No, anyone who knows me in like the WhatsApp groups or Signal groups that I'm a part of, no, I'm not like that at all, because I really do believe there are many different paths to healing. There are some fundamental truths like self-love and self-compassion that I think applies to everybody, but I'm talking more of the technical stuff, like using tools and programs and things like that. So just remember, if you're like not sure, I don't know what to do right now, I'm feeling helpless, I'm feeling lost, just take a deep breath, maybe put your hands on your chest. How can I change my focus right now? You can also ask yourself, what am I focusing right now? One of the things that drives symptoms are the stories we tell ourselves, and they're usually born out of fear, doubt, uncertainty, perfectionism, comparing our journey to others. No judgment at all, because that is normal, that's expected, it's actually a reasonable thing to do. When the brain thinks it's in danger, it's going to look for the most optimal solution. And the paradox is that the most optimal solution that it's looking for is usually not the the optimal solution it's looking for. That comes from you. And this is how you get your power back. This is how I know you are a powerful person, because at any time you can change your focus. I know some of you are going to email me or message me, Paul, how long do I focus? Well, it depends. It depends how long you can. Maybe for some of you, 5 seconds is all you can do right now. Maybe 10 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Maybe it's reading a book, listening to an audiobook, writing a poem, writing in your journal, listening to a song, havening yourself, closing your eyes and putting your hands on your heart and thinking about 1, 2, 3 things that you're grateful for. One of the things that I started a few years ago, just intuitively, was I just started doing a daily gratitude practice. And I know, like, everyone's heard of this. Yeah, Paul, I know. But that yeah, but is a pattern that we all have. I had it big time. I still have it. Sometimes I will hear something. I'll be, yeah, but I'm different. Yeah, but my journey is different. Yeah, but my symptoms are different. Yeah, but is something I really want you to try to be aware of, because that yeah, but can really get in the way sometimes. So if you're not sure what to do, if you're ever feeling lost or hopeless, how can you change your focus? There are 2 basic ways that I change my focus. Number 1 is often in the brain rewiring community, something called distraction, whether it's mood elevation, doing a visualization, doing a crossword puzzle, watching reruns of Mr. Rogers or Sesame Street, which, by the way, was very comforting to me when television was back in my window of tolerance, training zone to some of you. Watching the Muppets and Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers just sitting there with his gentle voice and singing that song was so comforting to my limbic system and my inner child. So really just playing around with this and find out what brings you comfort. How can you change your focus? Again, if you can only change your focus for 5 seconds, then 5 seconds is all you can do. Then you take a break for however how long you need to, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour. Using your tools in these little micro moments. Like, there is this belief that they don't do anything. I read somewhere that if I don't do a visualization for at least 10 to 15 minutes, it's not rewiring my brain. Well, not only is that not true, but sometimes our limbic system is so activated, our nervous system is in such a hypersensitive state that those little interruptions are everything. And those interruptions do add up over time. A lot of the research out there backs that up. If you're not familiar with Dr. Howard Schubiner, he had a really great interview recently on Raylan Eagle's YouTube channel. And it was a great interview. And I sent it to some of my clients because he's talking about kind of what I'm talking about in the videos that I share. But this one thing is really important. You can change your focus anytime you want. Are there exceptions to that? Of course, there are exceptions to everything I say, because sometimes we have a day where, you know what? I just need to cry, or I just don't have the strength. And sometimes that's what you need to do. But sometimes we also need to challenge ourselves. Can I change my focus for 20 seconds? Just change it for 20 seconds. I'm going to look outside the window and I'm just going to really focus on the clouds that are moving across the sky, on how beautiful the blue sky. And yes, that can be really difficult, but it is those little kind of micro moments, these little mini mood elevations, whatever you want to call them, they really do add up. So this is how I know how powerful you truly are. Because right now, a really important thing is to send these signals of safety to our nervous system. And one way you can do that is to change your focus. And I want to leave you with this last thought. And that is that once you decide to do this, once you I am going to get better, once you make that decision and you follow it up with consistent actions, there's literally nothing your brain and your nervous system can do to stop you. One of my mentors basically told me that. I'm paraphrasing what she told me. But once you decide to do something, your brain cannot stop you. And so these symptoms, these messages that it's sending you, I don't feel safe. I had unmet needs as a child. This thing happened to me years ago, and I just don't feel safe. I feel misunderstood, and there are all these themes. At the end of the day, you can choose what to focus on. And when your brain sends you these unsupportive thoughts and beliefs, you can reparent yourself. You are the leader and the parent of this dynamic between you and your brain, your inner child, your body, however you want to label it. You are the captain of your own ship. And it may not feel that way right now because of everything that's going on in your body, your mind, maybe in your environment, maybe with relationships. But ultimately, you have the power. You can change your focus at any time. And you can tell your brain in a very loving, gentle, but firm manner, brain, stop telling me this story. It is not helpful. Here's the new story we're going to focus on. I'm going to get better. I know you think I'm in danger. I love and appreciate that you want to protect me so much, but I'm not in danger anymore. And I've got this. That is a pattern interrupt You use that throughout the day. Don't have to do it my way. You can come up with your own phrase. And for some people, it's like, brain, just stop it. I had a client that's really all she would do throughout the day. That was her main pattern interrupts. Brain, stop it. I'm not playing that game with you today. And then she would change her focus. You are very powerful. Change your focus. When in doubt, change your focus. You can distract. You can sit with the sensation if that is available to you, but change your focus. And I promise you, it will change your life.